To sport now, where the New Zealand Breakers have punched their tickets to the NBL finals for the first time in 8 years. The home side came away with a 92-77 win over the Tasmania JackJumpers last night in Game 3 of the three-game semi-final series. Here to tell us more is former Tall Black Brook Ruscoe. Kia ora e hoa. Now, you were at the game last night at Spark Arena. Tell us, what was the atmosphere like? Were there plenty of seats filled for this must-win game?
Man, it was good. It just felt right. It kind of felt like mum's home cooking, I guess. Like, it felt right. The Breakers being back in the elimination game at Spark, going off to the playoffs, going off to the finals now. It just felt right, man. It was loud. There was a nervous energy. I'll be honest with you, a really nervous energy. Not only with the players, but amongst the crowd at the very start of the game. Even 30 minutes into the build-up, you could just feel it, the tension. It had been a long time, obviously 2 years away. With COVID, the boys have been over there. It's been 8 years since the boys made it back to the finals. It was tight, that start, but Spark Arena was a spark eventually. And man, I haven't heard it that loud. And I was talking to some of the players, Andrew Mulligan and Casey Frank as well, who have called games for the last 10 years, and they've been a part of the Breakers runs. And I was like, it was loud in here tonight. And they were like, man, that might have been louder in 2015. So it felt right. It felt like everyone had been holding on to this one for a long time, and that fourth quarter, I hadn't heard it that loud in a long time.
Absolutely, and I want to talk a little bit more about the significance of this win, because it wasn't just the win last night, but for this season, for the Breakers in general, it's pretty huge. I mean, going from wooden spooners last year to now contending for the championship, that's pretty massive, right?
Oh, it's huge, and I'll be honest, at the start of the year, they were getting wins, but I might have been a bit of a skeptic and saying, yeah, they're winning, but they're not scoring many points. They're winning, but they're not doing this, they're not doing that, and they've kind of come right on everything that they were working on at the start of the year, and it just looks so good right now. And they said last year started from the bottom, and now we're here, and it's so true. And you could see it with a couple of the guys, Tom Abercrombie, Will McDowell-White. They had been a part of this Breakers team for the last, well, Tommy forever, and Will's been there for a few years now, but they felt the highs and they felt the lows, and there's been some pretty big lows last couple of years with this Breakers squad, and it was electric last night. And you could tell that they were going to enjoy the moment, enjoy the night. They enjoyed it with the crowd. They enjoyed it with their family after the game. But there was this little look in their eye like, yeah, we'll enjoy this, but job's not done. And I was pleasantly surprised with that. And I think it's going to help them go a long way. Sydney's a quality outfit. There's a reason that the champs have been the standard for the last 2, maybe even 3 years. So it's a tough challenge ahead. But if the Breakers can put it together, who knows, man? Banner number 5 might be in the rafters.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, you were at the game last night. Run us through the game. The scoreline, 92-77, doesn't quite tell the full story. The Breakers were actually down 11 at the end of the first quarter, and even somehow committed 3 fouls within the first 90 seconds of the game.
Yeah, it was a real roller coaster. Maybe there was that nervous excitement that they had at the start of the game. Nerves is always going to be a factor. But Barry Brown Jr. was the real impact for me yesterday. He came off the bench and has come off the bench all year long, but he's arguably in the running for MVP, and he's coming off the bench. He had 32 points again last night, but he was the one that really steadied the ship once he came on and just kind of let the ball go through the hoop a few times and just kept the scoreboard ticking over. He was huge last night, and they came together as a team, but he had 32 with a bad hand. He kind of turned everything around. It was a real roller coaster, but a promising sign for the Breakers right now is they scored 92 points last night. They held them to 77, a quality Tasmania team. They shot the ball terribly from deep and still scored 92 points. So I think they shot 19% from 3 last night, which against Sydney might not get it done. But if they can connect from deep, if they can connect from 3, there were wide open shots that they were missing. Man, if they can get that rolling on top of everything else, then who knows, man? Who knows? They could literally go from the bottom to the top, and Coach Modi would deserve a lot of credit.
Former Tall Black Brook Ruscoe, tēnā koe e hoa.
My man, thanks for having me, brother. Hey, you, don't let them sleep on you. I seen you play.
Hey, I'll see you at Mount Albert Rec Centre at the next run with the boys.
That's it.
Kia ora.
My man.